What's good, y'all? It's your boy Yang here on the Berries channel, and we got some more sauce for you for Pokemon TCG Pocket. And pretty much the deck that we are rolling with today is features Umbreon, Darkrai EX, and then Pidgeot, not Pidgeot EX. And the point of this deck, right? Pidgeot. First, let's start with Pidgeot. Pidgeot is there to basically get a free Sabrina, so that way we can do chip damage with the Darkrai to who we want to or whoever they offer us, and then the Umbreon is to stop the basic Pokemon. So like, if we are going against Formosa or different things like that, we could do damage and stop them from attacking us. It's really good against Oricorio. Magneton can destroy us, if they're running Oricorio, Magneton, but most of the Oricorios we beat. And then for the EVEX, we have that in there so it doesn't get killed too quick by Pokemon to do a lot of damage. So going against this Flareon deck, right? This is probably one of the few matchups that this Umbreon deck can beat. It's not really that good against other fire decks, specifically Charizard or Incineroar. They just do too much damage once they rare candy. They're still, pretty much meta. But here we get the Pidgeot, right? And now this is how the deck works. We drive off, forcing him to sacrifice one of his Flareons, right? But this is going to set us up later for the Cyrus or for another drive off. So we want to force our opponent to make decisions or potentially make mistakes. It doesn't always happen, but in this video, I'm going to show some of the wins that the deck has, and then a loss where we didn't really get anything to work out. So we're doing 20, do the 80, it's 100, and he's gonna have to burn the energy to retreat. I think he grunts us, and he gets one. So watching this back, I think I probably should have just went for the kill, but I think we drive him off again. Just trying to stall the deck out to try to pull a Cyrus, because right now I'm just trying to figure out, do we drive him off or do we go for the kill? We drive off. He's going to offer us the Flareon, but I think this works perfectly because we're going to one-shot him after we do the damage. And then now he's going to kill us. His new Flareon EX is going to kill us. Right, but now we have a Pokemon, another EX Pokemon that we can finish once we drive him off. He combusts because he's just trying to ramp up. He's going to one-shot us, which is good for him. But as soon as we drive him off, it's GG. Bring the EVEX. Even if we didn't have Umbreon in the deck, we still win it. Now it's just quick pickings. Just drop the Umbreon, and this is what the Umbreon is really good for. It doesn't do a lot of damage, so that's one drawback of this deck. It does not do a lot of damage. It is a slow stall comp type of deck that's just meant to try to make people make bad decisions. And what I can say is that you can stall a lot with this deck. But, I mean, inevitably you're going to lose. When you have, like, you're going against a Pokemon that has, a person that has a 170 HP EX Pokemon, stage 2 Pokemon that is, you have a Lily and all these other things in their deck that's going to keep healing them, you're just going to lose. You're just never going to do enough damage. So, there's things that you're just going to lose to. Like, that's just how the dice rolls. So with this EVEX, I love it because you can do 30, and if you go right to Umbreon, you're killing the next turn. You're literally gonna just finish them. So our opponent is trying to figure out what they're doing. Obviously, they're trying to severely evolve the Froggy to the Greninja, and then passively ramp the Giratina in the background. This is the one time we did beat this deck. And I think I made a piloting mistake in this. We rare candy, which is like perfect for us. We have our perfect setup. We should have just killed the. We should have just killed the Eevee right away. That probably would have been the smarter decision to do, is just kill the Eevee. But this is, hindsight is always 20/20, because I think in this situation we drive off. Offers the Froggy. Because if he had a rare candy after this, I think I'll lose. But I feel like the big thing that I've learned when you're making, or you're trying to come up with like new decks, is that you have to learn how to pilot it, which means you have to learn how to use the deck properly. I made a lot of mistakes when putting this deck together, but I was able to get lucky a few times, and I was able to like get back on course. So right here, this is where Darkrai is perfect, especially against like these 60 HP Pokemon. The little passive 20, and then that 40 that we did is enough to kill him. So now he has to offer something. At this point, I thought he would pick the Sylveon, but he chooses to give the Giratina, which doesn't make sense because the Giratina is a basic Pokemon. It's weak to Dark Energy, and now he can't attack. So he has to sacrifice the retreat. And this is what I mean by using, the combination of drive off, which is a free Sabrina, and the Darkrai EX to force your opponent to make a mistake. I think down here in Ultra Ball, a lot of people make piloting mistakes, myself included. So when you're not running a meta deck, right? And I feel like this is why meta decks work is, and this guy, he just knew he was gonna lose, so he just tried to like AFK. But when you're running meta decks, it's easier to not make mistakes because that's the point. It's a meta deck. It's meant to be consistent. It's meant to be easy. It's meant to make the decision as forward as possible, so that way you can win. Like, there's not much for you to think about. But when you're creating decks, when you're getting creative with these decks that require setups and they require like different things going on, you have to be aware. So I think there's a combination of TCG that you need to learn, of like playing like these off meta decks so you can learn how to improve your decision making, and then going back to the meta deck so that way you can be consistent, because it's easier to be consistent with these meta decks. So with this match, we're going against the Darkrai. We luck out because we are turn 2, so we're going to be able to attack first. So let's see. He has Niliago. I think we lose to this one. This might actually be a loss. We have our Cyrus early, which is cool. We add our Umbreon to prepare. Rare candy. Now we drive off. I think was this the setup? So what do? We X speed. Retreat. And now I think I think the Krogunk, I forgot what it does, but like I had a couple matches earlier where I went against fighting decks, and they had the like the Mars Shadow in the back, or the Sudowoodo, or the Rock, and having that Pidgeot EX is so perfect, because with that Rock, having that Rock, you can just, basically Sabrina in and stop them from getting set up. In this case, this is where the deck works perfectly, where we just ramp the Darkrai, and it's enough to help do damage and kill one of their Pokemon. The little passive does a 20, and then now he's forced to put in a Pokemon he didn't want to. He's gonna have to swap out. He can't kill us because Darkrai EX is a basic Pokemon. He has to sacrifice his energy to put another Krogunk in. Passively chips us for 20, and then we just run the play again. So in this next turn, I think all I do is just drive off. I don't even think I had to drive off. He just brought the Darkrai. I guess he just knew what was gonna happen. I guess. I don't know why he did that, because now I'm thinking I could have just Cyrused him. but he can't do anything, and he's just stuck. And this is pretty much how this deck works. You're just trapping people, and you're just forcing them to just burn their energy and not allow them to ramp up, which doesn't really matter too much. And now we have that Cyrus, I believe, that we could use. So we just drive off to see what he does anyway. Sometimes I like to do that to see what they're gonna offer. He picks a Darkrai EX. We're like, nope, we want that other one. Passive, boom, 60, GG. And this is a pretty decent deck. I don't know if it's better than a Leafeon deck that I put together. I feel like it's kind of up there because it doesn't require too much energy, but it doesn't. Both decks don't do a lot of damage up front, besides with the regular, the regular Leaf. And I think this is next match. I think this next match is where we actually end up having a loss. Let's see. Yeah, I think we lose to this match. And this might be like a piloting one, but I just love cooking up, different things for you guys, showing you guys what I'm doing. This is actually a matchup that we are weak against, but we did pretty well. So we show this because this is Celestia Buzzwole deck. So he comes out with the Formosa, right? 70. We're weak to grass, but for some reason I think if you could pilot it correctly, or you just end up getting a lucky hand, you can still beat a deck that you're weak against. And that's what I love about this deck, after experiments, and is that sometimes you can beat certain grass decks depending on how the cards play in your favor. So here we're gonna go for the bite because we just want to do that 30 damage, because passively the next turn, if he doesn't swap out, that Formosa is dead. So in two turns you can kill people's basic Pokemon. And against the Buzzwole deck, the drive off doesn't really matter, because that Sabrina doesn't matter because they could always swap because with the Celestia. But that's just how the game goes. Like you're never gonna beat every single deck. But here, this is good enough. We get the kill early, and I think now is where, in this match, it's just one of those who has the better hands. Because if I focus on trying to take out the Celesteela, right, the Celesteela, then doesn't really, nothing really changes, right? He put some pressure on me because he capes the Buzzwole, and then the Kartana is going to hit me for 40. So basically, next turn, if I don't have an Umbreon, I lose. We Professor Research. We get the Umbreon, which works perfectly in our favor. Now I'm trying to figure out what I do here. Nightmare Aura him. Boom, dead. Just like that. Two Pokemon gone. This might actually be is this a loss? I don't know if this is a loss or a win. Now that I'm watching this back. Oh, he Lucamines. So he's about to 1-3. He's about to 1-3. Yeah. I think we lose this one. The Lucamine was perfect. This is where the mistake happens. I drive off when I should have just killed the Seal Celestia. The Buzzwole can attack, but that doesn't even matter, right? It doesn't matter because he's gonna just Celestia the Buzzwole, the other Buzzwole in. And this is where, when you make those one little mistakes, it costs you. The X speed, we're weak to this. He's gonna come in and just one-shot us. And I think in this case right here, I'm just hoping that I get a Cyrus. I'm hoping that I get a Cyrus so that way when he pulls out, I can pull him back in. But I just don't, it just doesn't happen. We had some good cards, but now we're just, the deck is pretty thin, and we're running low on time, because as soon as he knocks out this Darkrai EX, all we could do is just offer the Pidgeot, and he Cyruses us. So I think this is a good deck. It's just, it has its weaknesses. Sometimes you don't get the cards that you're looking for. and that's just the game. You know, that's just how it goes. You can't always win with this, you know, this type of deck. And this is a sad example where if we had that Umbreon up maybe a little bit earlier, that would have that could have potentially helped us. Probably should have just retreated and just put the other Umbreon in, and then I could have did like 40 damage or something to him. Yep. And then he's just gonna retreat. Boom. So I could see in this match the mistake was that I could have just put that energy on the Darkrai, retreated, and then threw the Umbreon in. So if I did die, it would have only been 1 point, and we could have kept going with the Darkrai and potentially got that Cyrus that would have gotten the kill. But that's pretty much it. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Let's hopefully find a deck that in the next season can help us climb and get further in the game.